What's going on, guys? This is Adventure with Reptiles. This is a little video about fire salamanders. So what is a fire salamander, most people ask? So it's an amphibian. It's like a frog, but it's not at the same time. So when they were babies, they were basically little tadpoles, like normal frogs, swimming around in the water. When they eventually get a little bit older, they then turn into axolotls. Axolotls are basically, you know, as everyone knows, you can find them in the aquarium section in the water. Eventually when they get even more older, then they turn into adults and they go into the dry land. Now, we don't really hear much about fire salamanders. I have noticed myself, I have been all over YouTube, all over internet, all over the social media trying to find out what a fire salamander is. Now, not many people know what they are, as they're not very much spoken of, but I'll let you know these guys are pretty awesome and pretty cool. There's going to be a little video I'll show you in a second. As you guys can see, they are lovely little creatures, lovely little amphibians. This guy is absolutely awesome. His name is called Bob. Bob's a lovely little guy. One of my favourites, unusual name, I know. But yeah, don't really get much to see of these people. Don't really hear much to talk about these people. As you can probably see, I'm wearing latex gloves, so you cannot handle these with dry hands. You do have to wear latex gloves or wet your hands, as they are still part of the frog's basically like lifespan. You can't touch them. All the chemicals and the oils and the bacteria can soak up into their skin and could cause them very, very ill and make them very, very sick, and also can possibly kill them. So this is my best friend. I've never actually, it's a very, very friendly one, as you guys can see. Wonderful little creature. One of my favorites, actually. I'm going to say quite a lot about all my reptiles in all of my videos. They're all my favorites. It's because I'm not biased. They are all my amazing animals that I actually love and cherish. Now, with these little guys too, they do like to live in the bioactive vivs. Nothing such thing called dry land. Yes, they obviously go onto the dry land. That's what they call it, going onto the dry land. But doesn't mean it goes into the desert. So these belong in the wet, damp places like the swamps or anything like that, or any woodlands or any rainforests. These are very, very awesome animals. You would very, very rarely see them in the wild because they like to be tucked underneath logs, underneath mud, moisture, anything that's dirty. They like to get themselves under and stay themselves wet. With these little guys too, it's very, very rare to find them. I've been all over my local reptile stores trying to find these. One of the hardest finds that I believe in. I managed to go out my area, managed to find one, and I've always wanted to buy one and own one, just because they're just such unusual creatures and they look more like a lizard than an actual frog themselves. With these guys too, it is very easy to care for. As I say, you don't need to worry about like, you know, guttering them out, cleaning them out and all the stuff like that. They obviously do, you know, do a bit of poo in their vivs and stuff like that, but it's easy to spot clean. But once again, you just mist them in the morning and in the afternoon, or before you go to bed, whichever you prefer. But I like to spray them on 3 times a day, one in the morning to at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and then later on before I go to bed. These guys are absolutely awesome. I'm going to say that a lot about reptiles. I'm going to keep saying it no matter what, because all my reptiles that I own are amazing and awesome, so friendly, so loving, and so perfect to look at. As you can see, he's kind of got cool little bit yellow dots, which I'll show you in a bit more of a better video. As you can see, he's not running away, not jumping. The temperament is absolutely brilliant. These guys don't really hurt you. They won't bite you. They have no intentions of doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I can't go wrong with Bob. Bob is awesome. I know, unusual name. The reason why I called him Bob it's because it just suited him. You know, when you look at an animal like Bob, he looks like a Bob. Well, this guy here looks like a Bob. So yeah, easy to feed for. They basically are similar to what most amphibians eat. They like to eat crickets, hoppers, earthworms, but not very often. So I kind of feed them on a kind of day cycle. So I kind of do a Monday I'll feed them, Tuesday I won't, Wednesday I'll feed them, Thursday I won't, and Friday I'll feed them. You kind of can see the repetitiveness on that thing anyway. That's how often I feed them. They love their water, so a big bowl of water. If you're ever thinking of getting yourself one, get a big bowl of water, make sure it's left there for them. And so they can bath in, because they love to bath and get themselves nice and wet. And then they also like to prey. So if you have their food, do give them a little bit of play. They won't bite you. Don't be afraid to pick them up. Don't be afraid to basically feed them, because these guys are absolutely amazing when you watch them eat. I think it's the most funniest feeling ever watching them eat. They like to tug at their little food around run the Viv before they eat it, so they like to play with it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy that little bit, and I'll show you a little bit more extra stuff, and I'll show you where he lives at. Peace. So as you can see, the little bit of a Viv setup, I made it a little bit of bioactive, so it's got live plants. Live plants like to keep in the humidity, and then you've got the cocoa fibre. Right, the cocoa fibre is the best bit about it, because if you put loads of water in it, it's like a cocoa fibre, I think they call it soil and stuff, quite easy to make. It comes in a solid dry block, just put a bit of water in there. Once you put a bit of water in there, it gets it all nice and soaking wet. Best thing about that is it keeps the humidity stuck into there, and then when you basically have the heat lamp or heat mat, I like to have heat mat. Heat lamp is too much power, too much heat. They just like it a little bit warm, but not overly too warm. So the best thing to do with that is put your heat mat on the side or underneath it. And I believe I found it the hard way, because I had nowhere to look for this, unfortunately. No YouTube videos, nothing like that, as you don't really see much videos on these guys. So I was just trying to find out what was too hot and not too hot. So I managed to put it on the side, and now since it's been on the side, it creates a great humidity on there, and it can tell me how good it is and how not it is. But also the best thing about it is just so entertaining to watch. You have this bioactive Viv in your living room or somewhere where you prefer to have it, and you can just see this little guy come up with the glass when it's ready for food, and you just see that big smile of his face. It's got the most adorable face that I've ever seen. And I hope you guys are interested in this little video, and I hope you guys decide to get a Salamander yourself, and if so, best of luck. Peace.